King Ranch has 600 miles of paved roads, 2,700 miles of fence. It has been called the most historic, the most legendary, and the most famous ranch in Texas. The first American cattle breed, Santa Gertrudis, was developed at King Ranch. So was the first registered American quarter horse. The dipping bat, to rid cattle of ticks, originated at King Ranch, as did the root plow. Much of the settlement of South Texas is due to King Ranch, which covers 825,000 acres in parts of 6 counties. Richard King, who owned a shipping enterprise on the Rio Grande, bought the first King Ranch land for 2 and 3 cents an acre and started gathering a herd of cattle. On a buying trip to Mexico, he went to the small village of Cruillas. The people there were having a tough time due to a severe drought. King bought their cattle and brought some of the residents back to his ranch. They became fiercely loyal and were called Quineños, King's men. They protected the ranch against armies, Indians, and bandits. Some of their descendants are on the ranch today. King Ranch has always been a hospitable place. King's wife Henrietta made sure of that. After King's death, she hired attorney Robert Justice Kleberg to manage the ranch. Kleberg married King's daughter Alice, the only one of King's 5 children to remain on the ranch. Kleberg descendants now own the ranch, which is in its 153rd year of operation. The ranch has expanded from cattle to include farming, gas and oil, retailing, tourism, and hunting. The ranch's corporate offices are in Houston.
I grew up Helen King Kleberg on King Ranch, and I was called Helenita because my mother's name was Helen too, as was her mother's and her grandmother's. So there had to be some distinguishing way of calling one another.
When Helen Kleberg Alexander Groves was 3 years old, her mother taught her the difference between a bobcat track and a coyote track.
The cat tracks are rounder than the coyote track or a dog track. I'm not sure I could distinguish between a dog and a coyote now. Probably at one time I could. And cowboys would teach you a lot of these things which they'd learned from their parents.
Helenita learned to shoot at an early age. She could shoot 2 turkeys with 1 bullet.
I think some of it is good management and a lot of it is luck. Now you do need to aim. When you're going to shoot a turkey, you want to shoot it in the head or neck because otherwise there's not going to be much to pick up. You will have ruined the bird for eating. So we usually tried to shoot for the base of the neck because it didn't move quite as much as the head. But sometimes there'd be a bird behind the bird that you were aiming at and at the same height. So we got a lot of credit. Not too many people have done that, I have to say. And you feel pretty good when you've done it, but I think a lot of it, there's somebody out there that's got a little hand in it.
Helenita played a lot.
Catch some horses and we'd go ride, play marbles. We'd have these little holes in the packed dirt behind somebody's house, and we'd play marbles there.
She loved her pony, Tordito.
He had to endure being a racehorse and having his teeth brushed, his feet picked out, and being bathed with just a little bit of alcohol in a bucket of water. And then my mother gave me an old sofa cover to use like a sheet to walk him around till he was dry. He was black. Well, most times he was kind of brown because he'd get sunburned. And he had a little white star in his face. And I knew that pony loved me, and my mother had always told me, do not approach horses from the rear. They can kick you. But I knew Tordito loved me, so I was trying to catch him one day, and he planted both hind feet right in my chest. So then I was better able to listen to my mother.
Another pony was named Pinto.
And of course, I was the first one to ride him. And there was two people that could ride him. Chino, who broke thoroughbred yearlings, and me. And everybody else he threw off. Oh, he won a prize for me, too. We had a horse show in Kingsville. And I showed him, and he won first prize. Well, there wasn't anybody else in the class, but I was just as proud of it as if there'd been 30 horses in there.
Helenita attended elementary school in Kingsville.
We never heard of integration, we just had it. It didn't matter what color you were or whether you could speak very good English or not. Everybody went.
In the fall of 1941, she enrolled in Foxcroft, a girls' boarding school near Middleburg, Virginia.
My mother wanted very much to go to Foxcroft, and her parents didn't let her. The school was brand new, and it was quite small. So in a way, I was getting to fulfill some of her early dreams.
Helenita had to tell her classmates about Texas.
They thought that I had never seen a white child, and that it was all cowboys and Indians. It used to really aggravate me that they thought Baltimore was way down south, and anything west of Paoli, Pennsylvania was called "and the West" on the train. They knew there was a place called New Orleans, and they knew there was Los Angeles and San Francisco. But between that and New York, there was an utter void.
Despite the odds, Helenita attended Vassar in Poughkeepsie, New York.
My English teacher at Foxcroft told me I was illiterate, not college material, and that I would not get into college. So I inquired what was the hardest place to get into from our school, Foxcroft, and they said Vassar by all means, because so many of the girls won't go there and they have quotas and they don't like to take many from one school or one area or one whatever. So that's how I chose college, and that was not a good way to choose. But, you know, the Lord works in wondrous ways. There I was, where I could get to New York in an hour and a half, and I could be there to go see so many things, and then to catch a plane to go to Kentucky or the train to Baltimore. And my family was in New York a good bit with the racing, so I had a place to stay with them most of the time. And it was really wonderful.
While she was attending Vassar, a King Ranch horse, Assault, won the Triple Crown and became, for a time, horse racing's all-time money winner.
I was right there. Unbelievable.
At the Kentucky Derby, some boys from Yale were sitting in the box next to hers.
We started visiting with them a little bit, and pretty soon we got one of them to agree to go place the bets for us. Everybody else in our box wanted this young man to bet for them, and the poor thing, he bought so many tickets on Assault that he got tired of betting on him, and he bet on something else.
Assault was not the only horse from King Ranch to win the Derby.
Middle Ground won the Derby and the Belmont and was a very close second in the Preakness, and both those horses were by Bold Venture. Bold Venture had won the Derby.
In 1947, Helenita felt she was needed at home and did not return to Vassar, but she learned a lot from her formal education.
If you want to learn, you're going to have to get around people that know more than you do, and you're going to have to read.
All her life, Helen Kleberg Groves has loved horses. She has spent a lifetime in ranching and actively raises cattle and breeds and races thoroughbred horses.
I have 3 places in Oakwood, south of Palestine, and one there at Crescent, and then one there at Bayard. And then it seems like my presence is required more often at King Ranch for different things. So it seems like you just go here and go there as needed.